What's going on, people? Here to talk about Nasomatto today, an Italian brand perfumed by Alessandro Gualtieri. Pretty daring perfumer, I'd say. He is definitely not for the faint of heart or the inexperienced with perfumery. If you guys aren't into niche, it's probably going to be a weird house for you. There are a few mass appealing offerings in the house, and I'm going to rank my 5 that I own and kind of compare them to the 3 that I've sampled. I will show you their box, their presentation, and some of the objective features of their product lines. They're all made in Italy. It says it on the side of the box. You get this box that is just paper, kind of cardboard, pretty minimalistic. I have 2 boxes here. The presentation, as you slide it off, gives you this just black box, and within it you have the 30 ml bottle that they come with. These are Extraits de Parfum. From my experience with them, they're very strong fragrances, and as you see, the cap is on there real tight for my bottle here. So it comes with an extra little cap. You guys probably know this by now, but if you don't, there's a travel cap. It says Nasomatto on the top. You can always throw that on and replace the cap if you want to switch them out. I find no reason to do such. That was the Blamage bottle for Blamage, which I will get to the ranking in a moment. There's also Black Afghano, which you see it's just a plain black bottle. It says on the side all of the specs, where it's made, Italy, authorized distributors only, Black Afghano, and it's got a little blurb on the back talking about the fragrance. So yeah, not too spectacular with the box. You can feel it just feels like paper cardboard. I did keep a couple boxes just for examples. Those are my 2 that I kept. I have 5 full bottles here that I'm going to rank for you. And then we'll talk a little bit about his cousin brand or sister brand, Ordo Parisi, which I've sampled. I don't own anything directly from them yet, but I have sampled Ordo Parisi stuff. And I have some comparisons between the 2 houses. I would say here, before I start my rank, I have also sampled Naso, which is a very challenging perfume from them. I will not be buying a full bottle of that. I didn't like it. It reminded me of urinals. There is a nice sweet kind of cookie butter. Reminds me of Cookie Crisp as well in the dry down. But you also get like this urine kind of deal at the beginning. It's maybe musky kind of animalic thing. Really couldn't wrap my head around it. I tried it a few times and it was definitely a very transgressive scent. I just couldn't get into it, guys. And that's the thing with some of these niche perfumery, especially with Alessandro Gualtieri. Everything he touches, it might be difficult to recommend any of these as a blind buy to you, except for maybe one, which is, I think, my number 1 from the house. So I'll get to that at the end of the video. We're going to start with least. The least I wear, the least I enjoy. I'm going to lowest rank one right off the bat is probably Naso. Okay, that's why I don't own a bottle. I did like Absinthe, which was the green smelling one. There's a piney green one. That would be my next bottle I get from them. That one I just have a sample of, so I'm not going to cover it or review it, but I did like the green, kind of photorealistic, very interesting green fragrance. Kind of not too outside the box, very fairly like linear, straightforward green smelling scent, masculine, piney kind of deal. I enjoyed that. I like how it comes off. I like the mix down that he puts on his fragrances, so that one's really nice. And then China White I tried from them too, and China White, I'd have to say, a big no for me. It's kind of a quintessential white floral fragrance. It just smells like those generic, mature, kind of old lady-like white floral fragrances. Maybe you guys have a different experience with that, but the second I sprayed that, I just wore it and I knew it wasn't for me, and I just did not like it in the dry down or anything. It just was quintessential kind of like dusty white floral fragrance that didn't have really anything for me in it. And this one was a blind buy without me actually testing it, and I should have known better. But the bottle is so cool that it really tricked me. So this is a birch branch on top. It's kind of telling you the story of this fragrance. Now there's a little bit of lore behind this fragrance, but apparently he picked like a note or something that was supposed to be a mistake, and they threw it in here. This fragrance is my least favorite of the bottles that I own, and I really almost can't stand it. If I sold fragrances, I'd probably sell this one. I don't think I'll ever wear it. Its good marks are that it is a relentless beast mode fragrance. It is just monstrous, monstrous fragrance, guys. Super beast mode. Like, it's never going to let go. You could try to wash it off with hot water and soap. It just never lets go of me. I'll put one spray on my forearm and it just bites. It just is really... So the best way I explain this one, how it feels to wear it, it feels like I'm wearing a bug spray with like this leather note in it. It's like an animalic leather bug spray. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever sprayed like that mosquito repellent. It reminds me exactly of that mosquito repellent. So yeah, guys, I get that off of this. It's very unfortunate because there's a lot of people out there who like this one. There's a lot of people out there who, they say it's got this melon note and all this other stuff. Like it's fruity and nice. Right off the cap, it smells good right off the cap. But as soon as I spray this one, I'll show you guys what the sprayers look like with a different one because I just can't spray this back here right now. It's just going to sit in the air and give me problems. With the bottles themselves, I noticed with this bottle, since the cap's so tight and I'm pretty strong of hand, this thing's starting to get loose. So the atomizer there is starting to wiggle a little bit. And I might have to just switch this cap out for good and just use the travel cap because this thing's starting to get loose. That thing is so tight on there. Yeah, that's like really, really tight on there, and it's loosening the actual atomizer fixture in here. So I got to watch out. I might rip that off one day, and that would be a shame because then this is going to spill everywhere and it's going to smell forever. So yeah, guys, Blamage is in last place for me. It was a big regret, and it's one of my least enjoyed fragrances in my entire collection. This thing is really bad. Anything I've ever said that I didn't like, this one's kind of taking the cake for me there. Maybe I'll be changing my tune, but I've had it for 4 months now, and every time I go to spray it, I'm kind of like scared to pull the trigger. It just is like really tough, guys. It smells great off the top, like right off the atomizer, but as soon as I spray it, I already know I'm in for it. It's got this leathery bug spray deal, guys. I just can't get past it. It's very, very difficult too. I had someone tell me it smelled musty, which I've gotten that from another one from their house too, that musty kind of feel, that dank, musty feel. And that will go 4th place for me, actually. Pardon is 4th place for me. Some people put this in their top, right? Like their top, they love it. This is the best from the house, that kind of deal. Now, it is good. As a patchouli fragrance goes, it's like very patchouli. I've actually smelled this same kind of mix down in the Diptyque Philosophos kind of adjacent, that smell, that really, it's almost a dusty, chocolatey plant kind of smell. It's sweet. It's got some sweetness and some bitterness, and it's actually very nice. I would spray this one. You see the atomizers get you pretty good. Yeah, that's really kind of interesting. This is a really good niche fragrance, guys. It's 4th for me because I don't wear it that much, but I don't dislike this. When I first got it, I did not like it. It took me a while to really get into this one, but now that I have worn it a bunch of times, I kind of understand it, and I know what this fragrance profile is like now. I do enjoy this one. I just had to come to kind of terms with what it was. It's not a mass appealing fragrance, but in the air right now, it's smelling very nice. It's reminding me of something. It's got this, now this was one of my blind buy regrets of the year last year. I made a video and it got featured on that video. And not until I got this one did it become the biggest of the year. But now that I understand what this is, I have nothing else like it. That's just a patchouli bomb. And it's got this really cool like floral twist to it, a little bit of sweetness, this dusty, dusty, dusty dark chocolate kind of thing going on. They don't list their notes, which is fine by me because I don't really like looking at notes anyway. I think it contributes to a false impression of the fragrance because of the confirmation bias that comes with, you know, somebody showing you a thing that you should be looking for. You're bound to find something. Like if I said there was, I don't know, a certain kind of wood in here, they'd be like, oh yeah, I smell the woody components. So that's why I don't really love it too much to go deep on like note lore or whatever. So pardon, I'll just tell you what it's like. It's classy, definitely dark kind of fragrance, almost like how Black Orchid's dark and like a couple other fragrances are just like not mass appealing. These are special kind of occasion. Just like if you're into fragrances, this might be for you. It might be something that you enjoy, like just a different kind of opulent. It's kind of relaxing, but it also is moody. It's got a moody feel to it, like it's dark and brooding, almost like a gothic kind of deal. I don't know. It's very interesting, this one. And a lot of people say it's their favorite. It's not my favorite, but it is okay. It is good. For what it is, I really like it. I got it on discounters for around like 115 bucks, something like that. And it's going to last me a long time. As you see, there's no crazy dent on this one because it's usually 2 sprays and that's all you need. 2 or 3 sprays of this, you're fine. You don't need to go crazy. I don't wear this to work. This is more of like a, if I'm going for a nighttime walk, it's a winter fragrance for sure. Definitely does better in the winter. So Pardon, it stands in the 4th place for me out of all the bottles I have. So just to recap, Blamage, number 5, worst one that I have for sure. Pardon is good. It's not bad at all. I didn't like it for a while, and now I kind of get it, especially after smelling other fragrances that go after that patchouli kind of density profile. This one is going to be hard for me to say which one is 2 or 3 spot. It's like splitting hairs, but this one right here, Duro, this is in the 3 spot, right in the middle. I like the mix down on this. I tend to wear this one a pretty good amount. I reach for it often. Now, hard to explain this one, but Duro, pretty sure he's making a joke about how Duro is hard, you know, as Duro in Spanish and Italian, I guess, are they mean hard. And I think he's playing on, you know, a certain male anatomy being hard. A lot of his fragrance choices, naming, and the lore behind them are kind of provocative. He's always referencing something with, you know, certain orifices and body parts, and he's all about that. All of his names are like jokes. Even Ortho Parisi supposedly means something foul, you know, in its own way. I'm not going to try to translate that. There's people who are bilingual who know that better. But I do know that he's suggesting something with all of his names, and this one's supposed to be a play on certain male anatomy being hard. And I can see it. It's got the hardwood top. And when you smell this, it's very masculine, woody fragrance. Almost in the direction of oud wood, how that kind of plays out, but way, way different. It's a little bit screechy, guys, to be honest. Sometimes it's a little screechy with this one. The closest thing I could say that you might smell in there when you first spray this and wear it, it doesn't seem to change much as I wear this. This is just kind of hits, and it keeps hitting that same note the whole time. I get that Sharpie fumes kind of vibe here. Like if you cracked open a fresh Sharpie and you smell it, I get something very, very downstream to that smell with this Duro here. But it has these like smooth wood components. It's got this density to it. It's very dense fragrance, guys. It doesn't seem to reach out too much, but it is there all day. It doesn't go away. It is relentless to me. It doesn't blast out like feet of projection. It is definitely a heavy, heavy bass, heavy fragrance. Super, super, really, really nice, but definitely not for everyone. And I do get that Sharpie fume kind of smell. Almost like, reminds me of a guy who might have been working on diesel and his hands like smell like diesel fuel a little bit, mixed with like this masculine kind of DNA. Very woody kind of deal. Interesting mix down on this, guys. I'll spray this one too because it's actually kind of interesting. See? Yeah, in the air, a lot less of that Sharpie marker kind of vibe, but when you go on skin, I get that, especially if you spray too close. You're going to get like this oil circle where you're going to smell it. This is quite nice. It is not bad by any means, but it is truly a niche fragrance. It's something that I don't have anything like this, and the closest thing I could think of is if oud wood went like super duper intense. I don't think there's oud in this, but Tom Ford's oud wood has a similar kind of wet kind of vibe to it. This like, it's almost like dense, moist, dark woods. That Sharpie kind of thing I'm talking about, this masculine edge to it, and that kind of trademark sweet musky thing that's in all of his fragrances. It's almost in every single one of his fragrances. He's got a signature musk that he uses. It's kind of this like sweet, airy thing. This is very nice, guys. So yeah, definitely pretty good, but not blind buy safe. None of these are blind buy safe. Maybe the first spot is blind buy safe, but this is spot 3. That's Duro. All right, let's talk about spot 2, which I am the only one who likes this smell of this fragrance in my circles. This is Black Afghano. I'm the only one who likes this in all of my circles. All the girls hate this one that are surrounding me, that I interact with daily, that I ask about if they smell me. I've never gotten a compliment from this one. Personally, I enjoy it a lot, but it definitely is different. It has a Middle Eastern kind of spice kick to it. It's almost like, it reminds me of like cumin, kind of how cumin does, with that body kind of smell, like a smell of a human's odors, but not like a bad way. There's also a sweetness to this and this kind of mysterious vibe that it has. Hard to pin down. The clone of it that I smelled, it gets more powdery, like baby powdery, but this one is totally different. The Black Afghano here, it's gonna last all day, especially on your clothes. It doesn't project super crazy, but again, I'm talking less than 5 sprays. Don't go more than 5, guys. This is a little bit offensive to some people. To me, no. I really enjoy this, but I could see how it might just smell like BO to some people. And then there's this other part of it. So it's balanced. A lot of his fragrances have this duality to them. They have this duality where it might have a note or a feature or something that's challenging. And then it's balanced by some very refined, nice, just good smelling stuff. But then it has this challenging component where he pushes a little bit of that provocative vibe out to you. So this also has this distinct smell of, if you've ever smelled the resin that's inside like a pipe or a bong or any of that stuff. If you ever smelled that in your life, you ever smelled that like hashish kind of resin, I've smelled that before. Most of us by now probably have come across something that smells like that, almost like a dirty bong. It has a note of that for sure. I get that all the time. It reminds me of like that. Now, guys, I'm sober. I'm not promoting any kind of use of that. I'm a sober person. I don't do any of that stuff, but this reminds me of those days for sure. There's something that brings that, not cannabis itself, but the actual burnt material of it and the condensed, burnt, layered buildup in the actual piece. This really does have something in it that brings me to that smell. It also has that human kind of body odor note in it, almost like cumin, but just not really exactly like that. It's got this Middle Eastern kick to it, but then it has this other whole feature where it's so nice. It has this really nice, there's a sweetness to it. Very difficult to explain. A couple great YouTubers out there covered it. I like how CG Sense talked about this fragrance. He said it smells purple, and I totally get that. I do like to associate colors with what I'm smelling, and I'd have to agree that this smells purple. I know it's suggesting that by the color of the juice, which is actually purple here, and it definitely is purple for a good reason to suggest that maybe this is some kind of darker, dense scent. It's definitely not for everyone though, but it is my second favorite of all of the Nasomattos that I've sampled and owned. So Black Afghano is definitely up there. I love the cap too. It's just very distinct looking, very beautiful. And I think the juice used to be actually black, but this juice is purple, guys. I might have gotten one of the newer ones or something. I'm fine with it. This is really, really good for what I got it for. And it was like, I think $98 for this or whatever. This is one of the hyped ones, so it's probably more expensive than the other ones. And then number one, I know you guys are into Nasomatto. You probably know what I already am getting at with number one, Barra Onda. Look at the dent. I've had this since July or August, so that's 6-7 months. And this one really took me off my feet, guys. I really, really like this. Hard to explain because they say it's a whiskey fragrance, but I don't really get too much crazy whiskey. Like, it doesn't have that, but it does have this, it's almost like florals and musks and something gourmand about it, and beautiful and bright and uplifting. I've heard this, I had someone blind test this with me. I get compliments on this one. Some of the strange compliments I've gotten with this one are that I smell like an expensive Corona. Like, so if there was like a Corona beer somewhere out there on the market that was like $300 and it was just some high-end, super refined Corona beer, I had one person say that to me one time, and they were like insisting on it. So could have just been a one-off thing. I don't like to take like a sample set of one and draw too many conclusions. I haven't gotten a lot of compliments on it, but it is one of those ones where I feel super good wearing it. It's very mass appealing and easy to wear, to be honest, compared to the other stuff that I just showed you and all the other things I smelled from Alessandro Galtieri. I think this one plays the nicest. This is the nicest playing one. It's not too odorous or in your face or like, you know, statement making or any of that stuff. I've been wearing this one for a while, and it's clones. So I do know of a clone here that if you do enjoy Barra Onda like I do, I'm not promoting anything, but I stumbled across this Irish coffee collection thing, and I swear I sprayed it on. I was like, what is this? It was reminding me of something, and it's just another flanker of Barra Onda. Basically, this thing is like super close to Barra Onda. So if you guys do like Barra Onda and you want something else that's out there, not the same for sure, sweeter, probably less adventurous, a little bit different, guys, but it is in the same direction of Barra Onda. So check out Irish Coffee from this cheapo, stupid collection here from, what is this, Fragrance World? Yeah, so I didn't mean to buy this. I just kind of grabbed it because it looked like a cool thing, and I don't have a lot of coffee fragrances, but I sprayed it, I smelled it, I'm like, what is that? It's so familiar. About a week into it, I'm like, oh, it's Barra Onda, or an attempt to clone Barra Onda that is basically just a more mass appealing flanker with a lot more like basic sweetness and just like super basic. But this one, the difference is night and day to its clone, the closest one I've found so far. Even the Alexandria clone of this, Godfather, is very good. Actually, that clone got me to blind buy the original here. So I was wearing a, you know, clone or inspiration from Alexandria of this fragrance called the Godfather, and I liked it so much I said, screw it, we're going to just go ahead and blind buy the original. And that happens a lot with me and the clone houses and stuff. I'll end up getting the original if I like the clone. So Barra Onda is a keeper. It's a rebuyer. It's going to be one that I always stock and I always have. It's one that I trust that I won't smell bad at all. I'll be just fine wearing this almost to every occasion. It is a little bit statement making, like, hey guys, I'm wearing a fragrance and I'm kind of interesting. It's a little bit attention grabbing. It definitely projects, like very, very big projection on this. A long time. So I just get like tons and tons of projection on this. I'd say it's not the most beast mode out of the whole house, but it is the nicest one to actually have project for me. And I appreciate this one a lot. So there's again, this gourmand, almost sweet smell for sure. You get this sweet, uplifting, airy, layered, high quality, undoubtedly high quality. And I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is unisex. Girls can wear this. I mean, it's not like super, super masculine or anything. It's just really nice smelling, uplifting, almost even like a summery kind of like lunch outing kind of deal. Could be all these different things. It could work in winter and more of the sweet components will come out, that kind of coziness that it has. But it also just is just a very intricate, interesting, multifaceted fragrance, and it is my number one from the house. And it probably always will be unless they drop some new mass appealer that can take that one spot. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of the video, what your take is on Nasomatto. I don't have any Ordo Parisi stuff yet, which is their sister brand. Everything I've smelled from them seems to be much more daring and much more difficult for me to justify blind buying and slightly more expensive. So I'm still floating around, circling the drain on which Ordo Parisi I'm going to get first or which one I want to even get in the first place, because that one is a little bit more research demanding. I don't want to get the wrong one. Like Terroni, honorable mentions Terroni and Megamare. Both of them are just, for me, I can't wear them. I've tried multiple times to get into that fragrance and blind buy it. Every time I almost get it, I just kind of choose not to. So let me know in the comments your experience with Alessandro Galtieri's fragrances. Let me know how you like my ranking, and subscribe and like. Thanks for everything, guys. Appreciate it. Peace.